All right, so let's talk about Key West a little bit. First of all, I heard there was a fight that broke out down there.
Yeah, right out in the middle of the street there by the bowl.
Yeah, what the hell? What do you got to fight about in Key West, number one?
And it was a fairly large group, too.
Yeah, y'all need to get your heads out of your asses, okay? This segment is called Get Your Head Out of Your Ass.
They're fighting over the last spot to get into the cemetery.
Yeah, that may be it. People are dying to get in there.
Oh, jeez.
It's true. Real estate's very expensive in Key West, and the damn cemetery is no different. All right, but that's a whole nother story. All right, so we're getting ready for the Tiki Man Radio Songwriter Showcase Key West Bound, the 7th year, going to be at Rick's Dirty Harry's, as we have been announcing since before we left Key West that we were coming back. And the reason we felt like that it was important to come back to Key West, number one, our name is in the title, Key West Bound. Number two, we've always felt like Key West was a very special place, and we was not going to turn our back on Key West. And number three, tradition matters. And so we announced that last year whenever anything was going on, that when Me and the Minds announced that they're going to Gulf Shores or wherever in the future. At that point in time, we didn't know exactly where we were going. We just knew that they were going somewhere else. And they had alternatives, okay? They could have stayed in Key West. They know it, we know it, you know it. But they decided to go, and so they went. And that's good. I hope it all turns out for them. I hope everybody has a great time. But we also knew that people that love Key West and had condos set aside and timeshares and all this other stuff set aside every year was going to come to Key West. And they slowly moved their event up 1 week early, and that allows people that can do both, right? You can go to Gulf Shores, and then you can go on down to Key West.
If you're retired.
If you're retired, if you have endless amount of money.
Yes, there you go.
And if you're retired and you don't have anything else going on in your life, you can spend 2 weeks and do something like that. Or you can do what you normally did, which was go down, catch a little bit of Fantasy Fest, listen to some good music for 3 or 4 days, and then see the boat races. Okay, that's the lure of that particular 3 weeks in Key West. All right, so now a lot of people who jumped on that bandwagon and was all for let's go to Gulf Shores. This is great. This is going to be fantastic. Are now creating events in Key West. Imagine that.
Imagine.
So the good news is there's going to be a lot of people, as usual, in Key West. We felt like that was going to be the place to be. And, I feel like that if there's caravans out there that ends up in Key West, I'm sure they're going to end up in Key West that next week. But what I don't like is the undertone of people all of a sudden saying, going to particular places in Key West and saying, listen, Me and the Minds left. If you hire us, you're going to have the only event in town.
Right.
And that is a little bit of backstabbing, okay?
It's a total backstab.
So you're going to see a lot of things come out of the next week or two, a lot of advertising coming out and all that stuff. Trop Rock Week on Duval is what you're going to see. Now, we have sponsors. One of the reasons that we were able to keep our event free to the public over the years was that we went out and got sponsors to pay for the artist. Last year we had happy hour acts.
Right.
And they all got paid. And so we kind of feel like that in order to keep our event free and keep it growing, we would go out and get sponsors to help organize this and support the musicians. It's worked out beautifully. So the difference is these events are going out and getting the events to pay them, which will turn into, cover charges and this and that and all that other stuff. The event has to make money as well. But I'm not particularly happy about this. You're going to be the only event in town, because we've never said that. We just said it's the place to be.
That's right.
And we've never discouraged anybody from going anywhere else. Okay, everybody's in town. People are playing all over the island. Go see everybody. Just make sure you come here, right? You don't have to stay all day. You don't have to come every day. Just make sure you come by and see your favorite artist play. You know, maybe there's an artist that you haven't ever heard of, because we try not to have the same artist every year, even though we do. We have some of the same stuff, but we always bring in artists you never heard of before, the new artist, all that. You know, that's how people like Boomer Blake and those guys got to play in Key West to begin with. The Brooke Grahams, the Danny Rosados, the Jonas Lawrences, all those guys had never been to Key West before we invited them down to play at our event. Okay? So, I'm not happy about it, but I just want everybody to know that if everybody wants to create some kind of thing to replace Me and the Minds in Key West, that's fine. You know, our sponsors have to pay for our event, so we're not part of any other advertising that goes out there and advertises all this other stuff, because it would behoove us to say, hey, Reggae Wines, would you be the sponsor for the day? Y'all go over here and listen to somebody else.
Right. No.
Right.
Doesn't work
We're
that
not gonna
way.
do that.
No.
And that's just business 101. So I hope everybody understands why we do what we do. And we have a pretty successful event, and we put a lot of work into it. It takes a whole year of planning. It takes a lot of volunteers to come down and help us do this. It takes a lot of work. And every year we have to critique things. And luckily we have the big support of Rick's and Dirty Harry's, and they're on board with everything that we got going on. So if you hear that there's an event somewhere like, let's say, Margaritaville, that's not the only thing in town, okay? Or if it's over at, say, Smoking Tuna, that's not the only event in town. We made the announcement that we were going to be back in Key West 100% before we even left last year. Every time we got up on stage, we told everybody, you know, who's coming back next year? Who's coming back next year? And everybody else was ready to jump on the caravan and head somewhere to Gulf Shores. All right, so things have changed a little bit, and I'm a little disappointed. Let's put it that way, a little disappointed, because I wouldn't do anybody else that way. So I just want to get that out there before all the news breaks in the weeks to come.
Right.
Questions, anybody?
Nope. I think
Nope.
you said it quite well.
I think
Thank
we
you.
should make it a $10 cheeseburger plate.
$10 cheeseburger plate.
Well, you know, and it's interesting you bring that up, because, you know, one of the problems we discovered this past year was that, and we had Rick, we had John out there.
The Bacon Man, what was his name?
Yeah.
Well, the Bacon Man was from Surf Riders.
Surf Riders, yeah.
I forgot his name.
So we get there, and all of a sudden the help quit, and because they're burned out from Fantasy Fest. And in Key West, you can pretty much go to any bar you want to, because they're all needing help. And so they all decided to not be there. So we were lucky enough that everybody said, you know what, we'll cook the hamburgers. We'll do that, whatever.
We'll chisel them.
Yeah, we'll get the hammer out and chisel them because of the big ball of, but anyway.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother story. Things behind the scenes, you know. If we had a reality show, the things behind the scenes, the show wouldn't be part of the reality show.
Yeah.
I just remember you going, what's Rick doing back there? He's slapping meat.
Wow.
You know, Rick's walking around. He's getting the grease off his big eye. Yeah. You remember that? He had a big eye around his neck.
Yeah.
And
It was cloudy.
That's so funny. Anyway, but we discovered that people were coming from Smoking Tuna and getting our $1 hot dogs and our $2 hamburgers,
Right. Mm-hmm.
and then leaving and going back over to Smoking Tuna.
Yeah.
What the hell?
That's right.
Well, we're going to fix that this year.
Yeah.
So that is
$10
forcing us. We're still going to have the $1 and the $2, which don't worry, but you will have to buy a drink coupon in order to get that.
Yeah.
But,
Okay.
to his point, that is a good idea. For those that don't, get a drink, charge them $10.
Well, I just think we ought to have the bodyguard out by the door and going, what you going to go?
Yeah.
Where are you going to go with that cheeseburger?
Yeah, where you?
Hey, boy, where you going with that cheeseburger?
Where you going? Yeah.
Don't make me take my glasses off.
Because our goal, you got to understand, when you develop these relationships like we have with Rick's, our goal, our number one job is to put seats in bar stools and drinks in hand. Okay? Mm-hmm. That's why they keep us coming back, and we do a pretty good job of that. So you'll have to get a beer. You probably need a beer anyway for the hot dog. Yeah, and you don't have to have a beer. You can get a Coke if you don't drink or whatever. You can get something else or whatever, Then you take your coupon over and you can get your $1 a hot dog and your $2 hamburger. Okay, that's how that's going to work. And again, this is because the cheap bastards from Smoking Tuna came over and was taking our food.
Yep.
All right, that's exactly what happened. Yep.
Alrighty.
I got nothing to say to that.
Yeah.
No, I agree with everything.
Yep.
I think it should be a two-drink.
I agree with everything.
Yeah.
Two-drink minimum.
I just hate that, we all should be working together at some point.
Right.
Because it's to everybody's benefit that everybody comes down to Key West. And so the more venues that are there that is having music, it's good for all of us. Mm-hmm. But don't go tell people you're the only gig in town.
Right.
That's taking it too far. Mm-hmm. Especially somebody like, let's say, a Margaritaville. Okay?
Yep.
Because they don't know any difference. Margaritaville's never been the only game in town.
Right.
And they're certainly not going to be the only game in town this year. And if it wasn't for a casual conversation, we wouldn't know what was going on. So, very disappointed in a handful of people that are doing such things out of selfishness. Again, remember what I just said. It's to our benefit that we are all there.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Right-o?
Right on.
Amen.
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 Pass the offering plate, Michelle.
Rick the Stick says you can't forget about John,
In
from
the JoJo's.
I said JoJo's.
Oh,
I said
did you?
John.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
So,
Who else was cooking hamburgers?
It was John
Rick.
Fisher, Rick, Flaz.
Yeah. Did Alex do that?
No, Alex was working the other side.
Oh, he was working the other side.
He was working
auction,
the
the
raffle.
He was doing the raffle.
Yeah.
He and Patty.
We had a lot of things that went awry right off the bat, as you will have every year. Something goes wrong every year or whatever, and you got to adapt and move on. We will have a different charity event this way. We want a charity that's involved, that is there, that is talking about their charity. That's, you can't just show up and get your money.
I
Right.
really liked the format that you guys did last year with the 2-hour
Yeah.
happy hour band.
Happy hour bands, yeah.
That really,
That was awesome.
because it got everyone just fired up and laughing and smiling.
That was a
I think it
nice addition.
Perfect. Yeah.
Well, the
it
SAC
really
Awards was the-
Oh my
Oh,
god.
my God. And I was so glad that I finally talked to Tim this week about it to confirm, because he's been busy with Music on the Bay and everything else, so we kind of missed each other a couple times there. But finally talked to him, and he says, yeah, man, you're the best gig in town.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, all right, good. We'd love to have you, and because it was such a hit. And again, we know we can do better. We know we can make the award show even better than it was last year.
Gina Smith has a good idea. She says, how about give the bartenders a hand stamp? So after you buy your drink, you get your hand stamped with
Well, there you go. Something.
Then that way, they're non-transferable. Somebody just can't go buy a drink and hand their tickets
Ticket
off to
off.
other people. They have to
That's a
show their
grand
hand
idea.
stamp.
Well, but see, the sneaky bastards from Smoking Tuna, they don't want to go back over and show where they've been.
Well, then they got to come over and buy.
Smoking Tuna would be like, what's that on you? What's that on your wrist?
Then they got to come
They
over and
don't
buy a
wanna-
beer, get their hand stamp, so they can get their beer.
they don't
Because
wanna buy a
trust
drink.
me, the stamp will say Tiki Man Radio on it.
There you go. I think that's a great idea.
What could possibly go wrong?
I think that's a great idea. The hand stamp is a great idea.
You know, because it's smoking too. You can go down the alleyway and then go in the back door and act like you've always been there.
What if they want to eat 3 times?
Yeah. What if they come
Well,
back
as long
for
as
another
they
hamburger?
still have their hand stamp.
But they shouldn't they buy? We can talk about
Another
it.
ham
Shouldn't
stamp.
they have
Gotta
to
get a
buy
coupon,
another drink to get
and then
another,
a stamp. All right, how about
Yeah.
that? We got a coupon and then get a stamp, and then they're good.
I
So-
like the passport.
So they can go all the time and get a
Yeah.
Or a passport. A
I like the
passport.
passport.
after buying one drink.
I don't know. We'll figure that out.
Passport
That's
with
the
a
question.
punch. A
Hey.
passport with a punch.
I mean, we're talking about $1 hot dogs and $2 hamburgers,
No, we're
but
gonna
somebody
up the
be like,
price.
I ain't washing my hand for 3 days.
Exactly.
You got to watch sneaky people. You always think about what a drunk will do.
That's why there's rules. You got to think about the ones that.
That's right.
That's
That's why you
funny.
need a bodyguard.
Tim Campbell says, I'm looking forward to upping our awards show game.
Oh,
Oh, my
absolutely.
gosh.
Absolutely.
I mean, we screamed so loud during
That
all
was
of
the
that, I
most
lost my
funniest
voice.
thing. I mean, I think I peed on myself, and I was
was
just
so much
falling
fun.
over.
Yeah.
And then Patty got a great video of me.
My only critique of
Dancing. It
the
was
whole
great.
thing was whenever, I don't know if it was way too much reverb or whatever, but when on the radio while we were watching on the
Dave
video, it was you couldn't understand
Come on
you couldn't
down.
understand the person's name
Yeah.
because of the reverb was so much. We're like, who the hell's that?
It didn't matter. It was.
So
Yeah.
just
had
gotta
to be
bring the
there. It was
just gotta
awesome.
bring the reverb.
Well,
down
and
a
the
little
problem
bit
is
for
we
those
never
of us
knew
that
what
wasn't
Dave
there.
was going to make that announcement. Right? It's like, give me reverb. We're like,
I know.
yeah. But we had fun with it.
Again, it was a blast.
It was the best.
It was fun
Tomorrow-
just sitting there watching it, but
Yeah.
Tomorrow is a very,
Are they
very
committed
special
on
day.
the rain thing? Are they going to do that? Pull out the?
Yes.
That's
Well, we
happening?
hope so. That's what they
Yeah.
said.
That's what they said. They're going to do the automatic awning that comes out, and we're also going to have walkie-talkies this year,
Yes.
where we can,
Danny.
yeah.
Communicate.
Where are you at? Where are you at?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's big. I mean, that's one of the things we came up with before we left last year.
Okay.
We can
Because-
talk to each other.
Elvis has arrived into the building. Elvis has arrived.
Yes. Bob Shealy's here. Bob Shealy. Yeah.
Love it.
Maybe I'll
Love
have
it.
my license by then, and I can check the frequencies.
Well, there you go. Well, Rick's actually has a, some, ear things and all that stuff. How they keep up when they have a really big crowd. It's a really big place.
Yeah.
If you have the top and bottom going, and again, for those out there that are trying to sneak their way into cutting us out of something, another thing that we're working on is there's a private bar upstairs. And Rick's wants to have private concerts with the trop rock artist up there, and they get paid at the door. So if there's a trop rock artist out there, the last thing you want to do is get knocked out of a good thing. So you got to be real careful about what you say and what you do, because before you get to the elephant side of my family, if you trace the roots all the way back, we were pirates. So if you shoot something across my bow, the next time I'm in troubled waters, I'm going to remember it.
Because of the elephant side.
That's right, because my great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather was an elephant.
And he
Okay.
knows that because he remembers.
Yeah. Boy, you got a long trunk.
So we got a big future plan for you guys where we can all make some money. Don't screw it up.
That's right.
Don't screw yourself out of a good time.